Fiona.
Yet another licensed kart racer joins the wave of Mario Kart-inspired racers. This time, it's a massive crossover of DreamWorks characters who will be duking it out on track to the sound of boosts, drifts, and power-ups. It's DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing, reviewed on the Xbox Series X. There doesn't seem to be a couple months that go by without someone hopping on the Mario Kart train, self-inserting an IP or multiple of them into a powered-up kart racer in the vein of Nintendo's timeless classic. Sonic the Hedgehog, characters by Rare, Crash Bandicoot, or more recently IPs by Nickelodeon, The Smurfs, Garfield, and so on, and now it's DreamWorks time. Putting the likes of Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, Puss in Boots, Dragon Trainer, Trolls, and plenty more under the same roof. Some may remember that this isn't even the animation studio's first attempt in the genre, with not only Shrek Smash and Crash and Madagascar Karts tackling their individual IPs and kart racers, but also a full-blown crossover in the form of DreamWorks Superstar Karts, released back in 2011 on the Xbox 360. DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing takes inspiration from the same places, but is by all means a brand new project. So let's say you somehow have never touched a Mario Kart game before and you don't have a Nintendo Switch to play what is arguably the pinnacle of the genre, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Kart racers such as these offer fast-paced, highly acrobatic tracks with wide turns, shortcuts, turbo pads in the grounds, ramps to clear, and a lot more. Skilled players are able to maximize performance by using all these elements to their advantage, and by drifting the hell out of every single turn and sometimes even on straights. This couldn't be any easier to pull off, with a single button to press a semi-automated sliding function that lasts until it's no longer held or until we touch a wall, with a notable turbo boost rewarded for longer drifts. That's the basic driving itself, but each race is also severely impacted by the many collectible random power-ups. These range from turbos, homing attacks forward, traps left backwards, protection against other power-ups, and plenty more. Naturally, these power-ups are heavily inspired by DreamWorks' properties, with the likes of Shrek's Sorbo Onions being the most notable example. The game follows the Mario Kart formula a bit too closely at times, all the way down to the cup structure, 4 races to clear with the star system in place as well, the UI elements, the camera angles and animations after winning a race, the boost start by timing the accelerator right, and so on. One track straight up copies a quirk of the rotating track parts from the Tick-Tock Clock race from Mario Kart DS. That doesn't mean the game has absolutely no unique features whatsoever though, as there's a couple rather smart changes to the evergreen formula. First, my favorite, is how every track has one or more paths that open up via collecting a magic lyre, which then materializes for a couple of seconds in the forms of a short piece of flying road, which is then extended via collecting further lyres on it. Missing one means either falling off this path or straight up out of boundaries, so there's quite a risk in taking them, but it usually brings in power-ups and perhaps a faster route, and of course regular shortcuts exist too. Part of the power-up management is also rather unique to this game, and it connects to one of their franchises, Trolls. Whether we start a solo race or a cup, a race host is selected, who then adds special power-ups to their event, called a Troll Surprise. These are then activated either by collecting music notes scattered across the track, to keep up the Mario comparisons, it's like the coins found in Nintendo's games, or by drifting in specifically placed paths to drift on and fill up the note bar, which can then be used for the host's special power, boosts, special auras, and so on. It's a cool little mechanic that adds a little bit more depth and variety to the events. It's unfortunate then that at its core, the game just isn't that polished or fun. Not just compared to Mario Kart, but also to many recent clones. The handling is competent enough, sure, but the readability of a lot of the power-ups is hit or miss. Many tracks have bizarre invisible barriers, sometimes the roads seem to glitch out a bit, and so on. And perhaps more damningly, the game's difficulty balance is a bit all over the place, as often a power-up hitting in the wrong place can mean that the player fails a long shortcut sequence, which sets them back by like 1/3 of a lap, making it virtually impossible to come back to the lead again. There's also not enough power-ups to bother the leader, so if you manage to get away, you'll likely stay in front. The game's presentation is generally solid. Colorful locales from the DreamWorks movies with both characters and areas showing decent polish and assets. Unfortunately, it doesn't support HDR even on Xbox Series X, which has the colors appearing more muted than they could be. Lastly, the game presents the sort of variety one would expect from such a title. Free races, challenges, time trials, online races, which we couldn't really test as usual due to a lack of players online, on top of a vast customization of karts that's pretty much lifted from Mario Kart as well, all the way to the icons of the various elements like tires and engines. There's enough to come back to here, for those who enjoy this kart racing bonanza. Ultimately, DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing gets the job done, but without excessive amount of effort. There's more than enough content, but the quality of the racing and general balance is just not on par with most of the better Mario Kart clones out there, let alone the last episodes of the Nintendo franchise itself. A handful of cool ideas, such as dynamic shortcuts and the Trolls characters giving special power-ups, give the game a little bit of identity. But it's all among the many design and visual elements that ate Mario Kart way too closely at times. Unless you absolutely need a kart racer with the likes of Shrek and Kung Fu Panda in its roster, DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing is fun, but not an essential game.